everyone and welcome. I am Chaitanya. You're watching Chai with Chaitanya. This is a place where I talk about books, movies, and fandom. And today I'm here to talk about Threadneedle by Cari. This is a young adult urban fantasy which I read recently and have a lot of things to say about, which aren't necessarily all nice. So let's go ahead and jump right into this review. Please note that this is a non-spoiler review like most of my reviews. And if you have not followed me already or subscribed to my channel, then the icon would be down below. Please do that and it would be amazing. So let's go. Off, I just couldn't wait to get into this book because one, it's so fat and thick, and it's supposed to be a part of a series. Like the author is supposed to do a series, is from what I've heard, and the cover looks really gorgeous, and just the entire premise of the book sounded really interesting and something that I would want to check out. So I went ahead, got myself a copy, and loved just how it felt in my hand, and I went into it with similar expectations. To say and summarize it in like a couple of lines, I would say that the starting was really slow but still interesting. The middle was picked up, but it also kind of dropped, and then so many things happened which were so unnecessary to the story and the plot, at least according to me, that I lost interest and I ended up DNFing, that is, did not finish this book by the end of at least I think 450 pages. This is almost like a 500 some pages books. I remember I had only 100 pages left and I felt really bad about DNFing it so close to it, but I was just not enjoying it. So before I go ahead and talk about why I did not enjoy this book as much as I thought I would have enjoyed, I will give you the synopsis. So in here you meet this character called Anna, who's a 16-year-old, and she is a magician. She's also an orphan who lives with her aunt, who's also a magician, and she hates magic. Her aunt wants Anna's magic to be binded, which is to say that she cannot profess her magic anymore. So as a child, she's been trained to suppress her magic and not use it. She's been trained that magic is a sin, that it causes havoc, that it causes destruction. And a part of this reason why she thinks like this is because of the fact that what happened with Anna's parents, like what happened with them, who were also magicians, and how it ended for them. And of course I will not tell you what happened with them because that would be a spoiler, but yes, just get the fact. And it also happens to be that in this book Anna goes out and meets other people in her school, and it's an urban school, it's an urban setting, so it's a normal school, like people like us, study there. And then there she comes across other witches and wizards, and they kind of all four of them come together and form a coven of witches, and also along with wizard they start practicing magic, and Anna slowly and gradually learns a lot of secrets about what has been kept from her, what is being told wrongly to her, and what exactly is the reality of magic, and how magic can be used in a greater sense than what aunt really tells her about. So we just kind of go from there and see a lot of things happening. Now, one of the first things that I remember about this book was that how easy it was to read. That is, the writing style is very simple, very straightforward, very easy to get into. So the world building is fun and it's very interesting, but it's not extremely complex and difficult to get into because it's set in the urban land, so you don't need a lot of context. You just need to see how the magic system works. So coming to the magic system in a minute, I felt that this book was so similar to how Harry Potter is, that you have a wizard orphaned, killed by one of the greatest evil sorcerers, and the aunt takes Harry Potter in, and then they hate him. Here also it wasn't exactly same, but it had similar vibes to it. So I kind of enjoyed reading that because I personally love Harry Potter, and so it was like a great point to begin with. But soon enough it became very different. The magic system in here is arguably very distinct and something that I've never really read before. And the biggest drawback that I felt about this book was that the magic system takes such a long time to develop. For example, for at least for 200 pages you don't really know what exactly this needle work or needle magic system is. Like, you get bits and pieces of it, and I know that's how fantasies are supposed to work. Like, no author or fantasy writer can reveal everything at a stretch in one go, because then it would become expositionary narrative. But at the same time, it just felt that the pieces that we were being offered were so disconjointed or so not enough, or was not giving enough ideas to go forward. So I was constantly confused as to what is happening and what exactly is the magic system in here. But that was kind of solved and taken care of by the time I hit the 300-350 page mark. But again, that's to say that you have to read a lot to, to reach there. I also really enjoyed the friendships that are shown in here. The female friendships between the four witches as well as the wizard is really interesting. I love how they care for one another, how they stand up for one another, how they are there for one another. But what I truly did not enjoy was the fact that a lot of high school drama has been thrown into this. And while I understand that these people are in an urban high school, so it's obvious that they would be dealing with problems that we deal, but it just felt so weird and out of place, because it just went so deep into the high school traumas that I felt as if I'm reading some teenage filled angsty book. And that is one of the reasons why I kind of ended up DNFing it, because there's this entire subplot which deals with one bully in the school. And while I know that some people can argue that stories about bullying and about being a bully and standing up to it, all of that is important, and I completely accept it, and I respect you, and I would want to hear more such stories. But in this context, I constantly felt as if the focus of the story was being taken away from where it should have been, and if we were being forced to read about the high school drama, which I, for that matter, did not give two flying fucks about. And that's just to say that the book was meandering. It was all over the place. There were some really very, very interesting plot points, but at the same time, it kind of was not focusing enough on those and was focusing on all the other aspects which it shouldn't be focusing so much on. And that just didn't do it for me for some reason. And I really wish that I go back and finish it sometime in the future, but I'm not sure. I have it bookmarked till the place where I read it last, and as I said, it's only 100 pages left. So I might just give it a try by the time the second book comes out and I hear more reviews as to how the author has handled whatever criticisms that she's faced in here, and just to see how it goes from here. Also, another thing that you need to note is that this book felt as if it's written for younger audience on the YA spectrum. So a lot of things would make sense probably for them, like if they are reading it and if they see the high school bully plotline, it would probably be very good for them. But as a person who's reading it as an elder person reading and loving YA books, this did not do it for me. So I ended up giving this book 3 stars, which is to say that I was being a little generous, because I did like certain bits and certain characters like Anna and somebody else that I cannot mention. But yeah, that's just to say that I was disappointed, and 3 stars is me being a little decent with this book and going a little easy. But it is what it is. If you have read Threadneedle, or if you have plans to read, then do let me know down in the comment sections below. I would love to know your thoughts and love to know what you feel about this book. And I will be seeing you super soon. So till then, bye and take care.